Hello, this is an overview using GapCross for audits and assessments. Other videos provide details of specific features. I'd rather cover more detail while enjoying a margarita at my favorite restaurant with you, but this video will do for now. The general flow diagram I'll cover is modeled after 3 ASTM International Audit Standards: F2839 Light Sport Aircraft Audits, D8308 Regulated Cannabis Operation Audits, and E2701 Environmental Compliance Audits. I will step through the audit flow and briefly demonstrate how GapCross is used at each process in the flow. I will be using a food safety assessment based on FDA regulations 21 CFR 117. First, I want to point out this process can be applied to certification audits, internal gap assessments, supplier audits, and other forms of assessments. The difference is the level of detail necessary to meet your objectives. I'm going to use the term assessment, but you can think audit if that term fits you better. Moving ahead here. The flow starts when someone initiates an assessment. The first process is some preparation and planning. What is the objective? What criteria will be used? Is there an existing checklist? Are travel arrangements required? Who will be involved? Is a formal plan needed? Part of this process is acquiring or developing the assessment program. With GapCross, there are options for attaining an assessment program. I'm going to jump into GapCross, and I'm going to change the dashboard over to the Marketplace dashboard. And here you can find programs that are available to use. I'll just scroll down through a few of them. And we're going to be working today, like I said, with the sanitation, the sanitation assessment. It's just a small sample. It's available for free, so you can go into GapCross, get this one, and play with it a little bit. Or you can go ahead and get the full 117 assessment. Another way is to build your own assessment programs using the GapCross authoring tools. You can also acquire those tools from the Marketplace. So we looked at acquiring from the Marketplace, authoring your own programs. You can also utilize expert authoring services to transform your criteria or checklist into professional assessments, or obtain and modify an existing program to meet your unique requirements. You can monetize your creative programs by offering them to others in the Marketplace. With a program in hand and an assessment plan in place, it's time to conduct the assessment. Let's jump back into GapCross, and I'm going to go to the assessment dashboard. I have one here I've started for a demo. I'll expand this. It's based off of 21 CFR sanitation, and I can see the client that I'll be working with is Maria Padilla, Director of Compliance for BB Food Processing. I'll close that down, and we'll just jump back in here to the started assessment. And here I can see the sections and I can see the questions. The ones that are blue are completed already. And I can scroll up and down through let me jump in here. I can scroll up and down through these questions and I can see the answers. I can see 33 of the 36 are already completed. I'm going to jump in here to the equipment. For any question, in addition to providing an answer, which I have not done on this one yet, there's also references. In this case, it's jumping out to ecfr.gov. I'll click that. Takes me right to the section having to do with equipment and utensils. I can make observations, which I've done here. The counter on the east wall of the processing room should not be used for direct food contact unless it is resurfaced. And I've also attached an image of that I can jump out here and view and see the cracks, which would be a source of contamination. So anyhow, I'm not going to go into all the details of running this. We'll see a little bit more as we go on. The next step in the process is reporting. So let's go back in here, go back to the dashboard, and let's just run a report on the audit as it sits right now. I'll click on report, and there's things I can change as far as just showing a summary. If I don't like the words compliant, conformance, I'd rather have compliance. It'll switch over for quizzes and things like that. Maybe correct is a better term to use. We're going to stick with conformance. The report has broken up by section. It's showing us where questions aren't right. We can see the different flags that are put into here. And I'm going to go down to the appendix and just bring up some of the flags. Let's add in the flag appendix. And here I can see the items that need attention, what corrective actions have to be taken care of, and preventative actions that should be addressed. Corrective actions are made by the assessee, sometimes during the site visit, following the site visit, or before a future periodic assessment. In either case, the corrections made can be noted in GapCross. You can grant the assessee access to view assessment results and references, to reply to corrective actions and other flags, to add attachments and photographic evidence. The assessor answers and attachments are always protected from modification, however. After the corrective actions are done, a follow-up audit can be conducted. I'm going to jump back in here and go back in assessment dashboard, jump back into this one, and let's go ahead and complete this assessment. So I'm going to click on the unanswered questions and bring them up. And I'm just going to go ahead and answer this one. Yes, those documents were made, and it's also a to-do list item I had. I'm going to check that off while I'm here. I have another answered a question in equipment, minor issues, and the wrap up, the summary. I'm going to jump into the history. I had this text in there earlier, took it out for this demo, so I'll paste that text in there and hit proceed. Now I also know I'll show you also, I can look for all the questions that are gaps that have issues with them. So this has a flag, corrective action flag. The other thing I can do is go find all the items where I have to do items to take care of. And this is one of them. I'm going to go ahead and just check these off without any further review or discussion, just so we can complete this. Observations, there's the to-do item to write the summary, which I've now done. So all my to-dos are done. All the answers, all 36 questions have been answered. Now I can go to the assessment dashboard and I can create a complete report. I can also go in here and process this as a record. So jumping back out to the flow here, I'm closing it out and I'm producing that final result and producing that final record. GapCross is cloud-based and accessible at every step of the flow. And that record now is permanently recorded in the system. A repeat assessment, say a year from now or next quarter, can be produced. So I'm going to jump back in. I'm going to go to my record dashboard. Here's the one that we just completed for quarter 2. I got one archived from quarter 1. And if I want to do a reassessment, I can come in here and reassess. And I can optionally bring in the previous answers in history, the attachments and the observations, or I can uncheck some of these if I don't want to bring all that information in. Go ahead and give my new assessment a name, and I'm off for my next assessment. In addition to audits and assessments, GapCross can be used for simple checklist with linked knowledge references, orientation and training programs with quiz questions, procedural applications where execution verification, data collection, and record retention are necessary, decision-making and diagnostic flows with action steps. It's time to unleash your inner creativity. And for more tutorials on videos and specific elements of GapCross, visit support.gapcross.com. To get started in the system, go try out that sanitation audit yourself. Visit gapcross.com and sign in. Thank you for watching.